Zebra Family channel. If you have not subscribed, please click the like button, share and subscribe. It's free.
That will be for them. It is for us to decide together with the party what is good for the party and for the country.
It sounds like whoever the party does choose as the top candidate is pretty
Yes, absolutely.
Well, they want you, unless I'm wrong.
Well, if they want me, then we shall see that when we get there.
As the top candidate is.
The Constitution says to compete, you should not be above that age 75. That's what the Constitution says. However, some people have gone to the Constitutional Court to raise some issues about that, so the court will guide us.
To be a president, the Constitution says you must be mentally and physically fit. In America, the President Joe Biden was actually asked not to participate in elections on account of his age, 79. When you have an 80-year-old president who keeps making erratic decisions, Mr. Speaker, I want to implore this parliament that we subject our president to, now that he's 80, the periodical mental and physical test, because that's the requirement of the Constitution. You can see her, but the Constitution says so. As a
order, Dr. Rocky.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I have listened to my senior colleague, Honorable Semuji, who happens to be the MP in an area where I live. He is trying to insinuate that an elderly person at 80 years cannot steer this country, cannot reason. Now, Right Honorable Speaker, if America is saying people at 80 should be subjected to other medical tests, but our president has not shown any sign of failing. He has not shown any sign of failing to discharge his duties. So, is Honorable Semuju in order to insinuate that our president, who is experienced to lead this country, is he in order to insinuate that our president cannot lead this country? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I am saying this in good faith because the makers of this Constitution had actually put an article that at 75 you can't be a president. I was not in the CA. And the president himself, you know, before he came here, I was a journalist. When we interviewed him, he said that 75 you are tired. Someone who doesn't even remember that there is no governor for the central bank. We need, and I'm just doing this in good faith, even for his health.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Ibrahim Semuju, for yielding the floor. From a medical standpoint, we have two types of aging. There is what we call chronological aging, which is a measure of number of years, and what we call physiological aging, whereby you have seen people who are 60 but they are finished. So they are chronologically young but biologically aged. And I want to speak as a medical professional that President MSEVENI may have chronologically clocked 80 years, but he is biologically young. And yes, and the spirit and letter of the Constitution is that it is the voters, if he presents himself or any other aged person, it is up to the voters to assess whether you are energetic to lead them or not. Indeed, I know the Honorable Semuju is a Muslim, but I just want to quote from the Christian Bible. If you read in the book of Job, chapter 12, verse 12, it says, wisdom belongs to the aged and understanding to the old. That's what the Bible says. So there is no problem with the age of President Yoweri Museveni. In any case, physiologically is very sound and able to lead. And indeed, there are many leaders who are above 80 in many countries. We can give you many examples. So, don't be worried. Do not be worried. If he offers himself, it is up to the voters. That's what the Constitution of Uganda says.
Honorable Semu, to conclude. I want us to conclude.
I want to thank the Minister for information. He actually only confirms that we need to do a test. That was his submission, to establish whether chronologically or... So we need to do a test. But Mr. Speaker, I am saying this, I want to repeat in good faith. You know, when presidents age, you saw what happened to Zimbabwe. Even family members begin taking national decisions. You saw Grace Mugabe.
Procedure.
These days you have seen the president, his son.
Honorable Semu, procedure.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I'm raising under Rule 79. A member has been advised
Concluded by the Speaker.
and even a quotation had been read to him from the Holy Book. But he has continuously engaged us and delayed us in repetitions. Okay? Which are actually not adding any value, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues. Through you, Right Honourable Speaker, under this rule, I would like to move that the member no longer be heard. Thank you.
Honorable colleagues, we run this house on flexibility, okay? But let us not also overstretch that flexibility. Honorable, conclude. You are concluded. Conclude.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have never seen young people who want to be read by old people. And they take pride in it.
But now, Honorable, I told you to conclude your opening pause.
Therefore, Mr. Speaker, since you are one of those who are approached to contribute cows and banana, I know you have more access than any member of this parliament. Kindly, on our behalf, make an amendment to do a simple thing. Just test if the president is mentally and physically okay.
Thank you
for your wonderful and very wonderful communication today, which includes the birth of President Yoweri Museveni, the birthday of President Yoweri Museveni. Mr. Speaker, together with the people of Busia, we join the rest of the country. And two, I want to appreciate all the statements that were made on that day. Although my friend Honorable Krumira is not agreeing that it is very worth it to celebrate the life of a president, moreover a honest president. We have President Arap Moi who died without us knowing his age. But this is a president who declared that he's 80 years. And Mr. Speaker, at the same time, in Busia culture, and we have a proverb saying that if you steal in the basket of an old man is a curse. When Honorable Chirumira was complaining, I remembered the words of our president when he said that at the age of 75, these people of Nupu Soro, his 1 million votes. I don't know what really Kudelopu is thinking. Because if you steal from an old man of 75 years, you cannot wish him a good birthday. But as a country, we must agree that President MSEVENI is a gift to this country because of the stability and the peace he has brought in this country. And I think, and the development majorly, with what I've witnessed in Busia municipality, I believe he is still strong enough because we have seen younger people, although they have grown in the cities, in the ghettos, doing more mistakes than the elder. Thank you, Mr.
Honorable Rabshija.
Right, Honorable Speaker, mine is a matter of national importance.
Okay, Honorable Rwanda.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I would advise all the younger and middle-aged MPs to learn from President MSEVENI. How can you live up to 80 years and you are still fit? I think he's a role model for us to learn from. Right Honorable Speaker, I was very disturbed when we lost our two generals.
Now, honorable colleagues, I think when this parliament sat down and resolved, whether you agreed with the resolution or not, but you resolved that you don't want to limit the age of anyone leading this country. You knew even people of 100 years will present themselves as president. You know, we are the ones who resolved it, so we can't run away from it. Yeah, so President MSEVENI, we are the ones who allowed him. Let Ugandans either accept or reject him. We leave it. I think the best test for him to know whether he's very okay will be done by Ugandans. Parliament, we don't have any power to do a test on an individual. Yes, Honorable Macho.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank God. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank God.
You know, colleagues, you know, I told you some time back that issues of Honorable Semju and His Excellency MSEVENI are like issues of generals. They usually sort themselves. But Honorable...
You are a young person. Do you think this is a platform to communicate the views of ordinary people of this continent?
No, it is absolutely the right place to be. We are here to kick the tables. We are here to make sure that we shake up, the agenda here. Let's take, for example, Agenda 2063. You would know that by the time Agenda 2063, or by the time we get to the year 2063, I'll be 74 years of age. So even I, of age, am not qualified. So you can't have agendas that are so far to reach. We need agendas that are measurable. We say 5 years, we need to have achieved this. So the younger, the better. The younger persons that come in as members of parliament, they are the better people to serve this parliament. These old people that are here must make space for young people who will be the custodians now and be able to be institutional memory. We will lose these guys, and not in a bad way. It's nature. Nature will resolve this. Nature will take its course. What will happen is that we will not have a living library to go to. The importance of serving young is that you are able to be found later and people can come, you become a library. And the investment on young people should not be seen as a contestation of power. And the obsession about position or with positions must be dealt with now. We must be able to groom. I know you were laughing now, saying, no, but why did the Commander-in-Chief leave this Pan-African Parliament? Commander-in-Chief believes firmly in resourcing and enabling and building young people. And so when he sends us, he's basically able to say, no, but here you're supposed to do this. He is now a living library. I can always call him, but how did you do this? Imagine if I was an 80-something-year-old, who was I going to call? Who do they call? Because they have peers, they've got power struggles and all of those things. But we are young, we're energetic, as you can hear how I'm speaking. Majority of the people you've been speaking to, the way they speak, they probably speak with a low voice. You have to always try to push them to get to what they are saying. So we need that energy, and Africa is going to be led by young people by force. We are going to kick tables. So with all of this, I think, yes, there is a need for young people to come in. And we urge those countries to bring young people who are energetic, who like reading. And
Family, let us talk about MSEVENI. He has just celebrated his 80th birthday. And he has been in power for the longest time. And I want us to articulate what the MP stood up and said in Parliament about the aging of MSEVENI continuously being in power in Uganda. He talked about MSEVENI should be subjected to a medical test to be checked whether he's mentally fit and physically fit to continue to be in the office of presidency. We saw a lot of them standing up, objecting to that, and feel like the MP was wrong in asking that. But what I like about the MP, he was respectfully, and he said his piece, what he think about the president. And what he said, he even quoted the Constitution, that the Constitution says once you are 75 years, you cannot go on being in the office of presidency or being a president of the country. We know that the law was changed, as MSEVENI did agree, as you have watched the video, that 75 was that you were not, as a president, you shouldn't cross to the next year or to the next term, being a president of the country once you reach there. But what he said, some people went to change the constitution, which I fail to believe, because it is him himself who sent those people to go and do that. But to him, it's like a joke. And looking at the MPs who were defending the president, MSEVENI, whatever point they brought up did not make sense, because these are the people who are in parliament for their own stomach or for their own family, to feed their own family, not to articulate the problems that are faced by the people on the ground. I felt the MP who raised the point of MSEVENI, that he was right bringing it up in parliament, though he was crushed, that point was not valid, and they didn't want to continue with it. A lot of MSEVENI people try to defend that point, because people, they defend even things that they shouldn't defend. They use their stomachs to defend. So looking at the history of Uganda and looking at Bobby Wine, who campaigned in a way, and the youth was listening to Bobby Wine, and up to date they still listen to him, and they understand that youth should be in power to run the country. And it is something that is going to happen in the whole of Africa. How long it will take, I don't know. But will it really come to fruition? The answer is yes. Because the people, the old people who are in power, they always make laws that will not sustain the youth. So I was listening to Vuyani Pambo, the EFF young lion. Malema has groomed a lot of EFF members to understand politics. Listening to Pambo, I felt I had to put him in this video, because what he articulated when he was having an interview with Sophie Mkwena, it made sense to me. The way he answered questions, you could see that Malema has planted a lot of knowledge to these youngsters, including Vuyo Pambo. He was talking about a certain issue, but he answered the issue of Uganda that was raised in parliament, that I picked from what he said, that Malema, being not in the Pan-African Congress, it is not because he didn't want to be there, but he has passed the ball to the youngsters so that him, Malema, can be a library to them. Whenever they feel like they are missing something, they go back to Malema and ask and seek for advice. It made a lot of sense. MSEVENI is supposed to be somebody who is a library of the Ugandan, the youngsters. Whenever they hit the ceiling, they will go to him. But where are they going to find him? Somebody who wants to die in power. So where are they going to get this knowledge? Who is going to be the library for the youngsters that are going to take over their country? I hope MSEVENI one day realize that his time is up and the youngsters have to rule the country. Because you cannot plan the future of the youngsters, because as we know that the world is evolving. We've got things that didn't exist during the time of Museveni's youth time that exist today. As the world is evolving, I hope the MPs who are trying to defend in Parliament should make up their mind and decide that we are not doing justice by doing this. Really, it is time for the youth to take over and bring amicable change in the country. Museveni has done what he can do, or what he feels he has done a lot of things. But the youth, if they take over, they might even do more than what Museveni did. Because these youth are educated, light-minded, quick to learn things, quick to adjust. So I hope Museveni will one day realize that the youth of Uganda and the youth of Africa, in all these other countries whereby we have these old age leaders who dig our minerals out of our countries and send them overseas, will understand that the youth is there to stay. And as they are aging, they should be the library of the youth to guide them when they feel they are not doing good. What do you think about the video? What do you think about Museveni, as he has celebrated his 80th birthday? And what do you think about the MP who raised that Museveni should be checked? He must be checked mentally and physically fitness to be in the office. Do you think he should be subjected to that test? If not, why? Drop your comment respectfully, and don't forget to like and share and subscribe. And I love you all. Bravo, bravo.